Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is day one of our scouting trip to Idaho. We are currently on a piece of BLM land on the edge of Craters of the Moon National Monument, and we're gonna go check it out in the morning before we head into the mule deer unit to scout tomorrow. But got the rental truck here, got a tent set up down here, and I should have turned the camera on a little bit sooner, but there is a beautiful sunset in the background there over the mountains. It's been a long day of travel. We've been up since about 2 a.m., so we're gonna roll out our sleeping mats, and as soon as it's dark, I'm sure we'll be out. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Haven't been filming a lot of video. Hopefully we'll start when we get to where we're going. But we just got to the trailhead an hour and a half ago, and we're hiking into where I want to start looking around for good hunting country. We've already seen some deer tracks, deer poo. When we came into this area by the stream here, we busted an elk out of here, or we think it was an elk. Didn't see all of it, just a kind of a brown flash. But we just tanked up on water because we're fixing to hike back up the mountain on the next part of the trail. So we're good on water. We're planning on being here till possibly tomorrow afternoon, but we'll see how things go. So when we were packing up at the truck to hit this trail, there was a couple of elk hunters on trail bikes, dirt bikes, fat tired, old school dirt bikes, pretty cool. But got talking to one of them for just a second. They're bow hunting, and they said this area that I came in to check out mule deer is where they're elk hunting, and the spot that I was planning on checking out is like 3 or 4 miles back in here, and the area they're going is a little over 6 from what they said. So he said all the animals are up further in because of something. He mentioned the weather. I don't know if it's the weather, pressure, or what. But he also said there's an outfitter camp up here, and there's horse tracks all the way in here on this trail, not to mention the dirt bike tracks. So I am interested to see how many hunters we run into and how many there'll be if we come back here during rifle deer season. I don't know, but I am so unfamiliar with this area and am still not great at reading topo maps. I wanted to get up in here and at least see an area that I thought looked good on the map to my barely YouTube video and book trained eye. I'll try to show you when we get there. Let's see if it looks good for deer for you guys. I've never done deer hunting out here before, so I know very little. We didn't make it very much further after that last clip. Looked all over for good spots to camp, and we ended up coming back to another stream crossing that has some softer dirt and has trees nearby to hang food sack in. So we are setting up here, got water boiling for some mountain house meals. So we're gonna eat, relax for a little bit, and then probably crash out for the night. We got real cold last night, so we put the rain fly on, give us a little extra layer and a little extra wind block this evening. Well, we have made it to probably as far as we're going to go on this trail, and hiked up the side of a little slope here. Only gained 350 feet or so of elevation from the trail, if that. But got some good areas to look out over, and just kind of practice my glassing setup and get used to these binoculars a little bit and all that. But it's a pretty area. It's probably, you know, there's not as much open stuff on the other side as I would like to see. It would be almost nicer to be up and over there and looking back towards this stuff. There's dry poo everywhere. Deer, elk, all that. And so they come over here. Not anything, I haven't really seen anything fresh today, but there's a lot to look at, and we want to check out another major area today, so we're probably not going to spend too much time back here. But we're eating our mountain house breakfasts up here. Had coffee at camp a little bit ago, and now we're just trying out the glass. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my spotting scope to put on the tripod. I elected to leave that back at the truck today, but curious to bring that in a little bit and see how usable it is out to distance. These binoculars, they're great. These are the Leupold BX2 Alpine HD 10x52s. I like these a lot so far. I haven't had any clarity trouble. That spotting scope, on the other hand, is a Vortex Diamondback HD, and it's not as clear as I would like. It never seems like I can get the focus very sharp on it, even at like 200 yards. So we'll see how it does out here. It might be usable. I may end up selling that thing and getting something better along the line, but not this year. Anyway, yeah, this is our spot for the first part of today. We're making our way into a different area a little further north, and just stopped on this summit here. Look over into this area. Seen some more elk hunters around, bow hunters, and a couple people zipping by on side-by-sides and dirt bikes. But some of this looks to be pretty promising. A whole lot less brush though, a lot less browse, and I'm wondering if either that might make it easier to find the spots where the deer are, or maybe there just won't be as many deer in here at all. I don't know. But right over there, some of those hillsides look to be pretty decent and maybe not as steep. Of course, it's always hard to tell out here, so we are gonna drive that way in a minute and see what things look like. The roads are way better than the area we were before. They're rough and rocky, but not near as full of holes, so driving's a little bit easier. And I worry a little bit less about this rental truck than I did on the last section. There's a whole lot of country over here. Some of it looks like, of course, it's all areas that I would love to get in and look around a little bit closer. But, and look at all that. There's maybe a few pockets within a mile or two here that look decent, but it's mostly just kind of barren from what I can see with the naked eye anyway. I haven't put any glass on it. I'm sure there's some good pockets, but kind of looks a little sparse. Well, yet another campsite for the evening. We are set up in a valley. We just came down this big windy thing, and we were gonna go further down into there. That's completely passable. You can see the water reflecting off there, but that's completely passable. But I realized that the road actually ends a little ways back in there. Now that might be a good hunting spot, and a lot of this area looks semi okay to hunt in, except that the road to get here is crazy switchbacky, and if there's any snow whatsoever, again, this is a spot I don't think I can get in with a pickup truck, which is unfortunate because that's kind of the same story with the last spot. And I don't have a side by side or a four wheeler or a dirt bike or horses. So, been trying to look for spots that I can get within a couple of miles of, even 3 or 4 miles of a spot that I could get to hunt. And, park the truck and walk in would be fine. But in the short time that we've had here, I haven't found a spot like that. Now, hopefully, the snow doesn't come, the rain doesn't come too bad, and we can get into some of these spots. That would be a good thing. This will be our last night in the tent, and then we're packing it up, hitting the road back to Boise, and I might hit the First Light store tomorrow. There's just a few little things I need there, but yeah, we'll see how things go. But that's most of a wrap on this trip, unless we find something to do tomorrow morning. Haven't figured that out yet. All right, it is the last morning for camping anyway, and I thought it would be a good idea to put the spotting scope on the tripod, since I haven't done that yet this trip, and look out at this canyon ahead of us here just to see how well I can see. It is full daylight now, so it's not the best test, but it is a little bit cloudy, so there's not, well, I'll show you where the sun is hitting and where the sun is not hitting for comparison. But we're going to try to use this on-glass spotting scope adapter. I've got the MagSafe thing for the back of my phone. This adapter is way too expensive for what it is, but it's working for now. This is on 20 power. Okay, so I'm guessing that this face right here is about 1.5 miles away. That is just a rough guess. 60 power, and I'll see if I can get it dialed to focus. Oh yeah. Okay. That's not too bad. I think if there were critters walking across that, I could probably see it. It'd be like picking ones up at that distance, trying to find one that you hadn't found already might be a little bit difficult, but that's doable. All right, let's look over here. Apologize for the jittering scope here. Let's look over here at that face. That's a little further. Okay, I can't actually focus that in. It takes a second, but it doesn't look too terrible. We'll look off over here at something a little closer, maybe more like 1,000 yards away. It's probably more than 1,000. I didn't bring my rangefinder with. I wish I had. I'm not good at judging distances on open areas like this, because I have not spent a lot of time out in this kind of country. But all right, well, that's usable. I would estimate that tree line to be, I don't know, 800 yards, if I had to take a guess. And this is just on 20 power, but if there were, again, if there were a critter walking out there, I think it'd be pretty easy to pick up. There were cattle in here a little while ago, but they moved off. Otherwise, I'd focus in on one of those. Well, alright, that seems usable, and that's all I want to test for now. I'll probably do a dedicated video, or maybe a short, on this on-glass adapter. It's, it works out okay. It is nice that even with the MagSafe adapter, it's doesn't add that much thickness to your phone, so this can still slip right in my pocket, no problem. I think that is probably the last I have to show you guys on this trip. If you enjoyed it, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Check back in later on. I'm planning to hunt some of these areas in October, and hopefully make some sort of a video about it. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.